mystery knit along this year. He tends to do a shawl mystery knit along every October. What? Oh, hold on. Pardon me. Excuse me. Hey everyone, my name is Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. Welcome to episode 41 of the Love in Stitches podcast. Today is Wednesday, November 20th, and it's like it's not cold anymore. It's warm here in Dallas. It's so weird. We've had like 3 75-degree days in a row. Yesterday it was almost 80 degrees, which is crazy because it's November 20th. It's going to be Thanksgiving next week, and it's only weird because last week it was freezing cold. Was it last week? I can't even keep up. It's been weird weather, but anyway, I've been trying to enjoy the nice weather by taking Toaster on a walk like every day this week. But now it's going to end. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so it's going to be cold and rainy as the weekend goes on, which is fine because it's November, but still. So as you can see, I am still wearing glasses. I had a little eye procedure done. My bruise is so much smaller now. It's still there, but it's smaller, and I'm wearing makeup, but I just can't seem to wear contacts. So I'll talk about that more at the end, but actually I think I'm gonna try to not wear my glasses. If it looks like I'm super cross-eyed, it's because even though the camera is like this close to me, my vision is that bad and I can't really see. So I'm gonna try to look into the little dot, which I can assume where it is. Because I just don't like wearing my glasses. I feel like it puts a barrier between me and the people around me. It's not as easy for me to function. I don't know. I like wearing my contacts where I can just like be present and be there. So we're going to try it. Also, my microphone clip broke. We're really a hot mess today. And so I have like clipped like the little part that fits onto underneath the microphone broke. So I've just like literally clipped the microphone. Hopefully it's working okay. I tried to super glue it, and then as soon as I tried to put the clip back on, it just broke like right here while I was sitting here. So, oh well. We're trying. Okay, so let's talk about knitting. You're gonna be so proud of me because I have a finished object and 2 nearly finished objects this week. So first, my finished object is this. Oh my gosh, you probably couldn't hear that. My stomach just rumbled so loud. I feel like the vibrations would be picked up on the microphone. I guess I'm really hungry. Anyway, this is my finished object this week. This is my own design. It is not out yet. Actually, I just called for testers today. So I will talk more about that again later in the episode and how you can apply to test. I wanted to make sure the deadline was long enough that I could talk about it on Instagram and on my podcast so that everyone would get the chance to apply if you're interested. But this is the classic can cozy. It is the sister pattern to my classic bottle cozy, which I will also show you later on. But this is the one that I made this week. So it's really a quick knit. It's using scrap yarn, like less than 15 or less grams, 20 or less grams. That's what we're gonna figure out in testing, is exactly how much it takes, how much yarn, and everyone's has a variation. So it's really helpful when I have testers because not only do they test the pattern, but they also test how much yarn that you need so that I can give you guys the best estimate. But these colors I just picked out of like my scrap jar. So this one I know is Lolo Did It, and I think it's Helping Hippos, but I can't be sure. I don't know. It's one of the Lolo Did It. And then this neon goodness is no idea. It was just a scrap yarn and I used it, and it's so bright and so much fun. So this is my finished object for the week. I have another one here that I'll talk about again later. This one is slightly different, even though it doesn't look it, because I was just trying to perfect like the number of rows and the inches and everything on this second go around. So classic hand cozy. The pattern is done. I have called for testers, and again, I'll talk about that more in just a little bit. Okay, I have a nearly finished object, which, oops, I forgot to put on the sock blocker before I hit record. Whoops. So these are my November socks. I did start them like November, hold on, I know that's loud. Did you need more sound effects to the sound that's already occurring? Probably not. Okay, half finished object. So these are Tink yarn, and the colorway is Holiday Nights. Get out of the way. Oh my gosh. There we go. And that is a yarn company based in Las Vegas, and I got it at Sin City Yarn. No, my husband got it for me at Sin City Yarn and brought it to me. And so I was right here last week, and so I've done that much. These are toe-up socks, and I did like all of it during, not all of it, but the majority of it during a meeting that I had on Friday of last week. We had like a 2-hour meeting. We're just listening and taking notes, and so I did the whole rest of the sock, most of the leg and the bind off during that meeting, and ended like just as it was ending, enough to do Judy's Magic Cast on the second sock. So I was happy to have that done, but I'm loving the color. You can see that it pulled in like a spiral across the foot. And then, I don't know, I guess it didn't do that. So, oh yeah, you can see the spiral a little bit. I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel, 60 stitches, and these are going to be for my mother-in-law for her birthday, which is coming up at the beginning of December. I think she'll really like that color. And then I went ahead and started on my second sock. So my sock routine, when I stick to it, is that I would start a sock at the beginning of the month, and I would do basically finish the pair in the month, which would be half a sock every week. So this is technically the 4th week of November, I think, but since November is included in 5 weeks, this is really the 3rd week. So that would be my second sock, first half. So I started the toe, and I am working on the foot. This is marking where I stopped doing toe increases, and I started working like foot rounds so that I can count my rounds. I think that this is for about a size women's 8 shoe, so I think I did 68 rounds. But if you go in the description box and go to my Ravelry page, you'll see these socks, and I put all my notes for everything in there. So yeah, toe up socks, got this one started. So now I think I should move my progress keeper over so I can keep track of this week's progress. But look how cute. Hopefully I'll have these done the next time I record, because it will be almost the end of November then, and I'll want to have these done for her birthday. But yeah, love, love, love. I've really been having a good time. I guess I'll leave this on the blocker for my picture when I'm done. I always take my pictures after I'm done recording. But I have been enjoying vanilla socks after making like 1.5 pairs of pattern socks because I ripped out one of them. Oops. But yeah, it's been nice to have something simple on the go. Oh, and I'm jumping ahead, but we're going to the movies on the weekend, and so I'll need some vanilla knitting. So maybe I'll save it. I don't know. I'll either get through the foot and the heel so that I have just leg for the movie, or I'll save the foot. Because you don't want to get to the movie and have like 10 rounds of stockinette and then a heel, because then it would stop, like you would be done like 20 minutes into the movie, which is not helpful movie knitting. Okay, so oh my gosh, I told you I have 2 nearly finished objects, which is because I'm almost done with Starflake. Finally. Only 1 more week will you have to see this week and next week, and then it'll be done. And you won't have to see Starflake ever again until I wear it. So this was Stephen West's mystery knit along this year. He tends to do a shawl mystery knit along every October. What? Hold on. Pardon me. Excuse me. Oh man, I'm so glad. Wednesdays we get done with school early. I'm a teacher, if you didn't know already. And one Wednesday a month we get to leave when the kids do, Most Wednesdays we have professional development, but today was one of the days where we got to leave, and it was special because usually like this month we wouldn't have a special like get done early Wednesday. We call them wellness Wednesdays because we have Thanksgiving break next week. Same thing for March, spring break, we don't get a wellness. I think May we don't get one, whatever. But our administration said they really appreciated us and they were gonna give us this as a wellness Wednesday, which I really appreciate too. So I feel like I have extra energy today because it's like earlier I would normally still be like driving home from work right now, and I'm like giddy that I just have the night to do whatever after I record this and edit it. Yay. Okay, back to Starflake. It is nearly finished. I am binding off. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. So happy with this. Let me find where I was last week. Did I ever finish explaining? This is a shawl, Stephen West. It was in October. It ended 3-4 weeks ago. And so if you haven't seen the finished objects, then you'll need to look away because I am at the end, but most of you either weren't participating, maybe you finished, or you've already seen it, so whatever. Okay, so it looks like I haven't done much since last week, but wouldn't you know that these rows are so long? They take like an hour. That's not true. They probably take like half an hour. These yarn over rows probably do take an hour forward and an hour back. Like they were long, but they were worth it. It looks really, really cool. So now I'm on the bind off. So he recommends this 2-color I-cord bind off, which I wasn't sure if I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do the I-cord bind off, but I thought maybe I'll just make it 1 color. Maybe I'll just make it in my dark color, like do the charcoal, or maybe I'll just make it in the pink. I don't know. I had to see it. But obviously I decided to go with the alternating, and it is turning out really cool. Also, it was an option to do an extra, like basically this garter section, repeat that again, and I did not choose to do that. It was optional, and so I took it as optional and decided I was gonna be done. But you will see that on some people's shawls. It'll be a little bit longer. Okay, so let me show you the bind off. So I started the bind off last night. We went to a Dallas Stars hockey game. We're gonna be going to a lot of those this week. Like my husband almost always attends every home game, but for some reason this week, I guess because one of the guys is out of town, I'm gonna be going to all of them too. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of knitting. I took this last night and started the bind off during the hockey game, which wasn't very comfortable, so I didn't do it for very often, just for like 1 period. But yeah, look, you alternate. So every 2 rows, you change the color. And I thought it was gonna be harder than it was because I thought I was gonna have to like continuously throw the yarns over each other, which would twist them. But actually, you don't have to do that. So if you ever wanna add this 2-color I-cord bind off to something, you do not have to twist your yarns over each other. What you can do is basically like in color work where you choose 1 yarn to be the top and 1 yarn to be the bottom. That's what you can do with this. So my pink yarn I will always keep on the top, and then the dark yarn is always on the bottom. So instead of them twisting around each other, one just stays on top of the other. You don't see it on the other side. It is a little prettier if you do twist them. Is that the beginning? I started out twisting them, and then I went to that. Can you tell? You cannot even tell. So anyway, don't be afraid. It's not that hard. It is still pretty awkward. But the other tip I have for you, if you're doing an I-cord bind off, do not use the same needle that's attached to like all of the stitches. If you're doing a short I-cord bind off, like this is an I-cord bind off, and it's really short and you don't need to do this. But for something like a shawl where you've got all these stitches, they're heavy, it's pulling down, it's really good if you separate off the needle that you're using to bind off. If you have a double point, that's probably better, like another set, but I have interchangeables, so I basically took off one of the needles and put a stopper on one end and then got the other one. Now, last night at the hockey game, I forgot to bring myself a cord. And the reason I have a second cord is because when you're holding on to this, you get just that much, you can see where the join is, just that much more to like place your hand on. And for me, that is more comfortable than if the needle stops, like where it actually stops, which is here. So last night, that's what I had to do. I didn't have the extra cord. I had just this, and I was like binding off like literally like that. It was super awkward. So I stopped after I was like, okay, I like the 2-color. I just stopped, and I worked on it more during my lunch at work today and in between some of the meetings we have. So all I have left is that. That's the wrong side of the shawl. Not as pretty. There we go. All I have left is that. Yay! I am so close. So I am totally going to finish binding off tonight. I'll start working on weaving in the ends and getting it blocked before next week. But hey, no real rush really. I mean, it's taken me this long. I'm already late. Do you do that? I'm already late to work. Maybe I'll just go to Starbucks. I'm a really bad influence. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I just want to get this finished before December, because December means Christmas knitting. So yeah, I want to get this done. But I've already done so much of the bind off so far. It didn't really take me as long as I thought it was going to. So, and it looks pretty cool. I would have never thought to do the 2-color bind off on my own, but I looked at a lot of people's projects and I'm glad I decided to do it. So much fun. Also, if you are really good at holding, like for color work, I like to hold one yarn in my right and one in my left and knit continental and English. I did try to do that on the I-cord bind off because it's easier than like dropping and picking up your yarns. But I found that I wasn't able to knit 2 together through the back loop continental. So if you're really proficient in both, you could do your bind off that way and it would make it even faster. Just a little tip. Okay, I think that's all. Those are all the whips. I should have some new stuff for next week, especially because I'm going on Thanksgiving break for a whole week. Our school district gives us a whole week of Thanksgiving break. Super appreciate that. I never had that growing up, and I never had that in college, and it made it really hard. Today I'm drinking water because it's so hot. I didn't make any tea today, but yeah, hopefully next week it'll be cold for Thanksgiving. I'm excited. All right, I have checked visual. It doesn't look like I'm cross-eyed. I have checked audio. It doesn't sound like this, whatever I've done with it is making it sound worse. So we are good to proceed. So I have a couple questions in the Ask Me thread. If you want to ask me any questions, just use the description box, the link in the description box to go over to Ravelry, to the Love and Stitches Ravelry group, and go to the Ask Me thread. So that should work. Okay, that should work perfectly. If you want to ask me any questions about knitting, crochet, life, you can put them there. So I have 2 questions this week. The first one is from Dotma317, or Dorothy. And she says, "Hey Natalie, now that I've gotten a taste of mosaic knitting," winky face. Dorothy was a tester for the shawl pattern that I'm doing with Chili Knits that will come out in January. Still unnamed, but I think I have an idea. Anyway, she finished it and did a beautiful job. So now that she has a taste for mosaic knitting, what pattern would you recommend for color work? Also, do you have any tips for being a thrower when knitting color work? Thank you. Okay, great. So I have a couple of things to say about that. Nothing super specific. So first of all, pattern choices for color work. So oh, I know, I have something else here on my computer. I'm just gonna leave it in my lap. But when you are a beginning colorwork knitter, you definitely want to find colorwork patterns that have just 2 colors. The reason being is that if it's only a 2-color pattern, then you know for sure that there's only gonna be 2 patterns in any given row. And when we're talking about colorwork here, I'm assuming this is not stripes, this is not slip stitch knitting, this is like true stranded knitting color work. So choosing things that only have 2 colors is going to be the best thing for you just to practice, because when you throw a 3rd color into there, I don't even know if I've done anything that really has that. It's not fun. It's really not fun to carry that 3rd or 4th color. So look for something that's just 2 colors. That will probably be the best place to start. And so I also thought maybe it would be fun if I went back to see what my first colorwork pattern was. And I've been on Ravelry since 2008, so it was pretty likely that my first colorwork pattern was going to be in my project pages, and I found it. And it is so great, you guys. So I'll try to show you here on screen, but I might just put in a picture. My first colorwork project was that. Oh my gosh, do you love it? It is Argyle. Brilliant. It is my Argyle iPod Touch case. Oh yes, you heard. iPod. iTouch. What's that what it was called? That can't be right. Anyway, I think I made it for a friend. I think she actually had an iPhone, or did the iTouch come out after the iPod? I don't remember. This was in August of 2009. And that was my first thing. It's not a pattern anywhere. I believe I researched like online an Argyle chart, and then picked those colors and did that for her and just made up a pattern. So too funny. That was my very first one, and I wouldn't do another true colorwork project until like several years later when I started designing these like hats, sports hats that would have writing on it. Like, so I would do letters for like my boyfriend in college and his dad and my brothers and myself, and I made sports hats in like team colors that had the writing and had like little other details on it, little stripes and stuff. So I have not done that much colorwork knitting, so I don't know if I can give you the best advice on that. But I am a thrower, which means I hold the yarn. It doesn't always mean you hold the yarn in your right hand, but for most people it does, because most people are knitting in the right-handed direction, which means you're knitting from right to left. So for most people throwing, they're going to hold the yarn in the right hand, and they're going to like wrap. They're going to move their hand to throw the yarn around the needle. That's how I knit. And when I first started colorwork knitting, I knit both colors that way. So I would just like drop one, pick the other one up and wrap, drop one, pick the other one up and wrap. You need to make sure with colorwork knitting that you keep one yarn on the top and one yarn on the bottom, so you don't twist them as you're knitting. So let's say you have black on the top, and no, let's say you have teal on the top, because I like alliteration. So you have teal on the top, you knit 3 teal stitches, you let it go, and you leave it above your other yarn, which is on the bottom. So let's say that one is black, and then you pick the black one up and you knit 3 stitches and you let it go and you let it drop beneath the teal yarn. You don't twist them. The teal yarn should be on top, and you pick it up. Okay? So I'm sure there's a million videos out there. I don't have any colorwork videos out right now, but if you need some help with that, that'll be out there. That is actually totally okay to knit that way. I always get the best floats when I am using my right hand, because that's what I'm comfortable with. Eventually though, I started to learn to knit continental. I can't remember if I learned to knit continental to do colorwork, or if I learned just to learn, like just to have that other skill set. But now that's how I do colorwork. So I will hold one yarn on my right, one on my left, and I'll have the color on top in my right hand, the color on bottom in my left hand, and that's how I will knit with colorwork. It's not beautiful. It took me a long time. Actually, let me see if I can find it. I made a bunch, no, not a bunch. I made some gloves that I still wear to this day, these fingerless mitts, and I remember them. That's what I distinctly remember as like my first true stranded colorwork project, even though it was the Argyle things. Let's see if I can find them. Here they are. 2010, so 2 years later. These are a pattern. These are the end paper mitts by Uni, I think, Zhang. Let's see if I can full screen that instead of close it out. These guys. And those were really great because they're just 2 colors. They are like small circumference of knitting, and I don't know, it was a really good experience. So there you go. There's one pattern I can recommend. But just takes practice, and yeah, color work can be really, really fun. Okay, hopefully I sort of answered that question, Dorothy. Okay, I have another question. This one is from Melissa, who is Mel Marie. And funnily enough, she also is testing the Chili Knits shawl. So I have got 2 questions from testers, which I love. She says, "Hi Natalie, love the podcast. Can you provide some pattern ideas to use with yarn advent calendars?" Yes. Okay, so this I actually do have some concrete ideas for you guys, since December 1st is rapidly approaching. But first I thought I would show you, you can actually kind of see it, my advent calendar that I got this year. I am not showing you yarn. I firmly, for myself, believe that I want to wait and open one every single day in December. I love that surprise. So I haven't even looked at the colorway names or anything. This is from Dragon Horde Yarn and Yarn Cafe Creation, who are a mother-daughter. They're a podcasting team, but they both have their own separate yarn companies. But for the advent calendar, they team up. So they each take, like, I think one takes odd days and one takes even days, and they dye a cohesive collection. And I got it last year as well, and they do the Harry Potter theme. So last year was the 2nd year of Harry Potter. So, oh my gosh, I'm a huge, huge Harry Potter fan. Oh, and I was blanking on the name of the book. Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets, that was last year. So all of the colorways, all of the names had to do with Chamber of Secrets. This year is year 3, so we're all about Prisoner of Azkaban, right? So all of the names will have to do with that book and movie. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like packaged. So if you did get this advent calendar and you haven't received yours yet, or you're not even opening the box, please look away for a minute. It's really not going to show you anything. Everything's bagged. Okay, so what I have done with mine, and I've taken it out of the box that it came in, and I put it in a basket. I love this basket. It looks like knitting. That's why I got it. Oops. Ew, there's hair on the bottom of it. But I actually got this basket. It's just from Hobby Lobby for our wedding. And we put, there we go. I got it because I knew we would use it in our house. But we put like our cozies that had our names on it from our wedding in here. And so now I get to use it all the time for knitting and backgrounds and stuff. But anyway, I just ordered the days. So like 1 through 10, 11 through something, 20, and then like the last few days are here. This is Christmas Day, and on this there's a sticker that says all of the names of the, I almost looked at it, colorways. And then this advent calendar, so it includes 24 minis that are 20 grams each, which if you do the math on that, let's see, a regular skein of yarn, fingering weight yarn is 100 grams. So 20, 5 of these would equal 1 100-gram skein. So 20 days would be 4 100 grams. 4. So it's like over 4 balls of yarn plus a full skein of yarn on Christmas. So 5 skeins of yarn, like the amount of yardage is over 5 skeins of yarn plus a gift. Last year it was a bag. This is clearly not a bag, but I won't know what it is until Christmas because I'm going to wait and open it on the 25th. But anyway, that's my advent calendar. Every day, this is what I did last year. I think I will continue. Every day the night before, I would get that days and put it in my bag to go to school, to go to work, and I would open it at lunch, or maybe I would open it in the morning. I don't remember. I'll have to go back and look at Vlogmas, but I would open it and then I would hand wind it, and then I would make my Advent project. So let's talk about Advent projects now. Actually answer the question. So I have several things to show you, and I think it worked pretty well for me to show you the pictures on the computer, which saves me a little time in editing. So I'm just going to show them to you on the computer. So there are a couple designers that have some Advent patterns. One is Amba O'Brien. Specifically, she has the Adventuresome wrap. So like you heard, Advent, sure some. And it is a beautiful, beautiful wrap. I'm gonna show it to you, that you can use your colors. I think my voice just cracked. From your Advent. Oh my gosh, look, you can see me recording. It's like a, what is that called? Inception. You can see the reflection of me recording this. Anyway, that's the Adventuresome wrap. Super pretty. You can use all 24 of your colors or however many colors you get to make that. And again, that one's by Amba O'Brien. So if you know that your Advent is a pretty cohesive set, then that would be a really great project to do. The other person who tends to design some things for Advent is Helen Stewart. And what is her pseudonym? Why am I forgetting it? I used to listen. Oh, I can't remember. I'm sure I'll remember it when I'm editing and be like, how could you not remember that? But anyway, this is a Land of Sweets is the name of the pattern. I haven't even said that. Land of Sweets. It is a cowl. And this one, you don't really have to have, like, you can see that that's not a super cohesive set of yarn, but it totally, totally works. Make this full screen. There we go. To make this cowl, so there's another knitting one for you guys. That's really great. You can see there's 24 colors there. Well, I mean, I haven't counted them. I'm just assuming that there are 24, but that's a really, really great one. So Helen Stewart, I think she might have a couple other ones, and I think Amba O'Brien has a couple other ones too. Then here's one more knitting one, and then I'll show you what I'm doing, which is crochet. Kay, who is the Crazy Sock Lady, I was watching her podcast, I think it was last week's podcast. I was watching it today, and she is coming out with a pattern, I believe, on the 22nd, which is just 2 days from now, or tomorrow if you're watching on Thursday. And it is a cowl as well that would be really great for Advent knitting. It is part of her, like, she had the heel toe do-si-do socks, which is like a chevron like that. That's self-striping yarn. But she's also going to have mitts, and then this cowl, which the cowl is much wider around. So it'd be perfect to use mini skeins to make those beautiful chevrons and just, you know, do it for however many, I'm sure she has it in the pattern, however many rows, and then change to your next color and do your Advent knitting that way. So there's 3 patterns that would be really, really great for Advent knitting. Okay, now what I do is crochet. So I, every day, make a granny square from that colorway. So I brought over last year's stack. They are still granny squares. One day though, let me get all comfortable here. One day though, these are going to be a blanket. And since these are all from the Advent calendar from last year, and then I'll have this year's, it'll be a Harry Potter blanket, which I love. You would never know it's Harry Potter if you just looked at it, but I know it's Harry Potter, so it makes it really special for me. So I made one of these every single day in December of 2018. So this is a simple granny square, but if you want to follow along, like exactly how I have made mine, I have this as a free pattern. I've got it free on my blog, I have it free on Ravelry. I have a video tutorial that walks you through it. The only place you can't get it for free is Etsy, because you can't just do free on Etsy. So if you are not a Ravelry user, then you can go to the blog and search for it, which is just knittynatty.com. But yeah, so that is Scrappy Granny. Did I say that? It's called Scrappy Granny. So yeah. There you go. There are several options for you to make for Advent. I really like having the one little bite-sized thing each day that I can finish. It only takes me like half an hour, so it's perfect for lunch to make one of these. And then I weave in the 2 ends. Well, I didn't on this one, but all the rest I did. Weave in the 2 ends. So like in my project bag, I'll just keep I'll keep the crochet hook. What size did I use? I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe I should go back and look. But I'll keep the crochet hook and a darning needle, so I can just go ahead and weave those ends in when I'm done. Let's see. Hibernating. My project is hibernating because I haven't worked on it in a long time. A D 3.25 millimeters. So that's what I used. I'm kind of a loose crocheter though. But one day I will crochet around these in one color and then join them with like something simple like gray or something, and they will make a beautiful blanket. So I'm really excited for December 1st to start so that I can start opening my advent calendar and start recording Vlogmas, which will be right here on YouTube. Super can't wait. All right, let's talk about some news. I actually have quite a few things on Love and Stitches news this week. The first is that I have a new video. It was dropped on Tuesday. It is the part 2 of my yarn room tour. So last week I had part 1 come out. Now I have part 2. I will try to remember to link both of them below. And so they're just one video that I split, like one recording that I split into 2. So yeah, you can just pick right up if you watched last week's where you left off, and I show the rest of the yarn room. I show this behind me going around the rest of the way. So it's a fun way to see what the space looks like beyond just this. But it is one room that I get to have all of my yarn stuff went in. Oh my gosh, which is such a privilege, and I'm really happy that I get it, because I don't know if when we move to our next house, which I don't know when we're moving, but the next time we move, I don't know if I'll get this space again. So I'm definitely taking advantage of it while I can. I also had a new blog post come out, which my blog is knittynatty.com, and there I talked all about my knitting routine. So like how I am able to get projects done and just stick to a few projects at a time. I will just say, disclaimer, that's not something that I've always done. This is like the past 2 years me, where I have like my sock knitting routine. I try to knit a pair of socks a month. I have usually like one main project that's my focus, and then in the past year I try to have one design. So it's like something with a lot of brain power, something that's fun, and then like socks, which is my portable, easy, on-the-go knitting. So feel free to give that a read if that's something that you're interested in, if you want to have a routine for your new year coming up. Okay, 2 more things. Today only. So today, not today, Wednesday when I'm recording, but tomorrow, Thursday, when this is posted, only on Thursday, November 21st, 2019, you can get one of my patterns for free. So my friend Claire, who has the Eclair Makery business blog designs, she's awesome. She does crochet, I think only crochet. Yeah, she does a lot of really cool tapestry crochet. I mean, she's just amazing. She's hosting a blog hop where different makers are offering a pattern for free every day. So if you don't catch my pattern for free, still go check out her site, because every day in November there's a new pattern that is free for one day only. Sometimes the patterns are free on blogs, but then the PDF is free. Mine is a paid pattern that will only be free on this day, and it is the Playtime shawl. So it is a crocheted shawl. I originally released this in July of this year, and it's a 2 skeins of fingering weight shawl, triangular. It has these really fun crisscross stitches. But yeah, if you go to my blog, if you go to her blog, no, you can just go to my blog, but I'll link both of ours below. There will be a blog post that will tell you the coupon code that you need to get the pattern for free, but it's only on Thursday, November 21st until midnight Pacific time, I believe. And that is also only good on Ravelry. Again, Etsy just doesn't have the means to make things free that I know of yet, so just on Ravelry. Also, since it's part of Claire's blog hop, that's where she's choosing to host it. But also, I did the Playtime shawl in collaboration with Farm Girl Fibers, and so she's actually offering a discount code. So again, go to my blog, knittynatty.com, and look for that post, and you will see the discount code to get 15% off, 15, hope that didn't sound like 50, 15% off at Farm Girl Fibers, and that is not just for Thursday the 21st, it will go through November 30th. So go take advantage of that, get the pattern, and then if you need some yarn, you can get it from Farm Girl Fibers. She's got some beautiful, beautiful stuff. Okay, last thing, classic can cozy is in need of testers. And last time I did a test, I felt bad because I didn't make it the deadline long enough for me to talk about it on YouTube. The deadline had already passed. So this deadline to test has not passed. So if you would like to test the classic can cozy, you can go to the link down below. You have until Monday, November 25th at, I think I said 5 p.m. I put it on Instagram, but I think I said 5 p.m. And that's just so I can close it and then look through everything and let my testers know on Tuesday that they were chosen. I won't be able to pick everybody, but I will pick a pretty large group for this just because what I need mostly, like the pattern is pretty simple. Not saying that there won't be errors. I make errors all the time. The pattern is pretty simple. What I need to know is like out of X many people, how much yarn did it take you and you and you and you, and find the average? How many rows did it take you to do like half an inch and then find the average so that I can make the best pattern possible. So that's why I need quite a few testers for this. It's gonna be like a fun little personal private cal. So yeah, if you want to test, apply. The deadline to apply again is Monday. The test will start Friday after Thanksgiving, which I know not everyone can actually start that day. Totally fine, because you will have 11 days to knit. It only takes like 4 hours to make the cozy, and hopefully you have some leftover yarn you can use in your stash so you don't have to go buy anything. It only takes 4 hours, 11 days. Hold on. Let me get the dates for you. Also, when you click the application to test, it will say like exactly all of the deadlines. So I have, I think it's December 10th is the deadline to finish, the suggested deadline to finish, because on December 11th, you need to have it like blocked and photographed. So in order to do that on the 11th, you probably need to finish on the 10th. I try to make it easy to like break things down so that you can, you know, kind of plan accordingly, because that's how I plan for myself. Begin the test on Friday, November 29th. Finish by Tuesday, December 10th, which is 11 days. And weave in your ends block, take finish object photos by Wednesday, December 11th. And then post your project and photos on Ravelry by the release date, which is planned for Friday, December 13th. Okay, there's the details. Now, here's the thing. I'm not just testing the can cozy, I am also testing the bottle cozy. Now, the bottle cozy is already a pattern on Ravelry. It's already out. The pattern is totally fine, but I did reformat what I had to be like consistent and aligned with my current patterns and with the can cozy. So therefore, I decided I'm just gonna retest this one. I'll still be looking for just as many testers for the bottle cozy as I am for the can cozy, because they are quite similar, of course, except for like length and when you get to hear all the decreasing and stuff. So I want to get this one tested again just to make sure I didn't accidentally delete a row when I was reformatting it. So when you apply to test, you will actually be applying to, it says can and bottle, but you will need to choose either can or bottle when you sign up to test. You can only choose one. Some people have already put in their application for both. Don't do that. They found a loophole. Please just choose one, because I would rather give more people the opportunity to test than to, I would rather give more people the opportunity to test. Like, let me know what you really want to knit more, because then I can put you on that and then give somebody else, you know, if you really want to do the can, just put that. And then I can give somebody else a bottle spot. You know what I mean? Because I want to include as many people as possible, but I can't have like 100 people. That would be too many. Not that many people are going to apply. But anyway, so yes, both of those are, I'm going to need a testers for those. So go down to the link in the description box and you can apply if you would like to. Okay, I think that is it as far as news. So just a couple live things and then we will get wrapped up. So like I said, I cannot wear contacts right now. I don't really understand why it's taking so long for my eye to heal. I guess I still have bruising, which means I probably still have some swelling. I get like an eye twitch in my eyebrow and eye here sometimes. So I think it's just taking some time. I tried to wear contacts on last Saturday and I was fine. I was driving and I'm like, things are just blurry, and then I got a horrible headache. And so I ended up taking them out, putting my glasses on. So much better. And then again on Monday before I went to work, I put my contacts in and I couldn't even finish getting ready with them in. They were just bothering me that much. So really hope that this is not like something that is going to be long term. I hope it's just my body healing up my eye, because I would really like to work my contacts again. I also have a theory that this is the first time since I started wearing contacts, which was when I was 18, so almost 10 years. This is the first time I've gone more than a day without wearing contacts. So maybe my eyes are changed. Maybe the shape of them has gone back to what they naturally are, and I just need a new prescription. I have no idea, but don't worry, I'll get it figured out, because I gotta be able to see and wear my contacts because I can't wear sunglasses and I'm so sensitive to the sun. I was doing car line today and I was having to go like this and squint, and I was like, oh, the sun is burning my eyes. And I don't have prescription sunglasses because I just don't wear glasses that often. More than you needed to know, but that's what's going on in my life right now. I'm very, very excited because in just 2 days, it will be Thanksgiving break. I have a whole week off from work, school, and we aren't going anywhere, which is going to be amazing. I can just get some things done. I have big plans to record several videos for Love and Stitches, get some pattern work done, just try to get all that done in the beginning of the week so that later in the week I can just spend time with family that is traveling here. I'm also excited because we're going to see Frozen 2 on Friday night. I think my husband's favorite movie is Frozen. His favorite Disney princess is Anna. And so we're really excited to go see Frozen 2. We're going with my mother-in-law. So all of us, we already have our tickets because we're going to go to Alamo, which is one of those sit and eat places. It's really great. There won't be a lot of kids there because it's an 8 a.m. What? There won't be a lot of kids up there because it is an evening showing, kind of late, and also they don't allow kids to go. I think you have to be with an adult if you're under a certain age, and you can't be under 3 except for certain show times. So it's a really great place for adults to go watch movies, but they do have events for kids, so it's fun for kids too. Okay. And lastly, things that are bringing me joy this week. On the same vein, I have been enjoying Disney Plus so much. There's a show in particular that I think is hilarious. It's High School Musical, the musical, and it's a show, and it's basically a high school that's recreating High School Musical, but then the show is really about them, but it's filmed kind of documentary style where they do a lot of talking to the camera and little talking head one-off things. So funny. I think it's hilarious. I am laughing to myself when I'm watching it because I'm watching it alone because my husband doesn't want to, but it's really funny. So if you are of an age where you watched High School Musical when you were younger, or you watched it with your kids and you like stuff silly stuff with music and stuff, go watch it. I said stuff a lot. Also bringing me joy this week, we decorated for Christmas at our house finally. We had been decorating at my mother-in-law's, but we hadn't decorated our own house yet, so we finally got our Christmas tree out and everything, and so it looks nice. It's not done yet, but it looks really good and it's making me happy. I have hand knit stockings that I will probably talk about next week. I'll bring them down and show them to you so I can talk specifically about the pattern and everything. Oh, one more thing I almost forgot. I spent a lot of time on Sunday working in our kitchen. I cleaned out our refrigerator. I even put some I kind of made zones where on the shelf, since we only have a few tall shelves, this is where my lunchbox must go, and it needs to be reserved for my lunchbox. So I put a label there. I'm this is where open drinks milk and stuff need to go. So I put a label there. And then I kind of made a like the main shelf where we have leftovers and things so you know what you need to eat next. We had so many drinks, like taking up all this room, and we couldn't put stuff in the fridge, so I moved them to the door, said this is where they have to stay. They must stay there. Anyway, so I had fun cleaning out the fridge and organizing it, but I also did the same to our freezer, and then I made several freezer meals. So I talked about last week, I've been watching Jordan Page, who's Fun, Cheaper, Free, and she will freeze everything. So I decided I would make some breakfast and freeze some extra so we'd have breakfast for the week. So I froze banana nut muffins, and I made some like sausage, egg, and cheese, and like a bell pepper little tacos, and I froze them, and they've been really good. I just put them from the freezer into my lunchbox. Then my lunchbox sits in the fridge overnight for myself, because I like to have everything packed up and ready to go. So in the morning when I wake up late, I can still make it to work on time. But my husband, he'll take them straight out of the freezer and unwrap them and microwave them. And they've been tasting really good. I know they're pretty much still fresh, but it's so nice to just have it made and ready to go. And so that's been really nice. And then I also made a bunch of bean and cheese burritos. I just got like a ton of tortillas. We also ate tacos this week, so I made taco meat and then froze what was left over. And then I also froze PB&Js, and those were okay. The bread was a little dry, but I think the bread was maybe a little dry going in. But the peanut butter and jelly part tasted good, and they weren't soggy. So I think that's everything I froze. I froze some bagels that I'll eat next week. Anyway, it's just been fun. I used to always think that to do freezer meals, you had to do this big prep and like go to the grocery store just for the things you were going to freeze and label your bags and make a bunch of meals. I don't know why I wasn't thinking like, if you make a meal and then you don't finish it, you can just freeze it. Or like when you're making a meal, make a little extra and then just freeze it. Like I guess my thinking has changed since watching those videos. So now, like, there was some soup that we didn't get to, and instead of just waiting till it was bad and tossing it out, I just froze it. So now I can eat it later when I'm actually hungry for it and it's not 80 degrees. But anyway, that's been bringing me joy this week. I love cleaning and organization, so that's been really fun. Okay. Have I covered everything? I don't know why I'm looking, because I can't even see that far to my computer. I hope I've been looking at you this whole time. Oh, now that's bad too. Anyway, thanks so much for watching and dealing with all of my silliness. I'll see you guys again next week, which will be Thanksgiving. If you need to take a little introverted break from your family, I will be here for you. Bye.